So it's a great sport. It's something that I still love to watch.
So you also had a one last thing before we'll get to. I'm sorry, we'll get to Kelly in a minute. I made her get out of the pool if she wasn't already out. But just talking about Folgers made me remember that you also, maybe not a business relationship like being a spokesperson, but you had another association with a household name, Sam Walton of Walmart.
Man, you've done your homework, Paul. You amaze me.
Wow.
You're quite a historian of music.
Well, thank you. I appreciate. I really love it. It's one of my passions. That and politics.
Well, Sam Walton was like a dad to me. I mean, I really loved Mr. Sam, and I loved and respected so much what he had done in his life. And I remember when I was just a kid, I sat at a breakfast table with Mr. Sam Walton, and he looked at me and he said, "You know, I've got 4 stores." He only had 4 Walmarts at that time, and he looked at me and he said, "You know, someday I'm going to be as big as Sears." Many years later, he just blew by Sears and became the biggest retailer in the world. And to have been there and been a part of that and watched it happen and been part of it, and to have been his friend and having been able to pick up the phone and call him and speak with him and talk with him was something that I never took for granted. And he was just a wonderful human being who had an incredible vision, and he much like Elvis, he had dreamed and had practiced the power of positive thinking so hard that he did become the largest retailer because that's what he dreamed of, much like Elvis, who dreamed of becoming the entertainer. He was an incredible human being. I have such fond memories of Mr. Sam Walton.
So I'm not sure. Kelly, are you here with us back on the line?
I am. I've never left.
Oh,
I've enjoyed your conversations.
Oh,
and
okay.
yes, I'm still in the pool.
Oh.
You can't get me out of the pool.
That's so funny. I didn't. Here I am saying that giving you time to get out, and you didn't even have to leave at all.
No, I do most of my business from my float.
She does all of her songwriting in the pool, matter of fact, or in the tub.
Really, that's fascinating. I didn't know that. I didn't find that in the research. That's something new. I can't believe. How do you keep your paper from getting wet? You have to be very careful.
Most of my lyrics have dribble marks from the bubbles, and
no.
I do a lot of my quiet time in the swimming pool and a lot of my business meetings from my float, and so this is nothing unusual for me. How are you, Paul?
I am doing well. Thank you. Thank you again for being here. We were just, in case you're joining the program right now, this is Country and Conversation. I'm Paul Joyce, just talking with the great T.G. Sheppard, and now we'll be talking with his wife, Kelly Lang, a fabulous singer and songwriter. And you were born in Oklahoma City. You're an Okie girl, correct?
I am an Okie girl. Yeah, I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and was born in Oklahoma and lived there till I was about 6, 7 years old. And my father worked for Conway Twitty as I was growing up, and Conway decided to move our whole entire organization over to Hendersonville, Tennessee. So I've been here since I was a little girl.
Well, I was going to ask you about Conway because your father, as you said, was his road manager. But what was it like for 25 years, something like that? Quite a long time. 25
years, right up until the day he passed on. So I don't know anything. I thought all kids' dads managed icons. Well, you were very close to Conway, I gather, just from being around him so much. I saw a picture, I think it was on your website, of you playing on Conway's softball team. I don't know if it was for a charity or just a game, but you were sitting next to him and your dad, and you had your name on your shirt, Kelly. And it was an annual softball thing that he had going on since I was a little kid, and I wasn't playing at that time because I was too small, but he did charity organizations for baseball. He actually was had a scholarship to go on to play professional baseball at one time, and turned to music, thank goodness. But I didn't realize that. But that's sort of a strange connection. Like a lot of great singers that have come out of Oklahoma, some singers have had backgrounds in baseball, like Charlie Pride and even Roy Acuff, if you go back that far. So it's just sort of interesting. He donated a lot of his money and a lot of his time to different charities, and I guess I was just the byproduct and the cheerleader on the sidelines with that T-shirt. I was so young I don't recall exactly why I had that on, but he was always in the the tapestry of my life. I don't remember ever not having Conway call the house or just be part of our family functions, and I thought it was normal, but obviously looking back, it probably wasn't so much.
So would you say that you developed a love for music at a young age?
Oh, yes. I one of my favorite gifts I was ever given, my dad, strangely enough, bought me a music book when I was like 5, and I couldn't read music. I probably couldn't even read at the time, but I cherish that same book still to this day as one of my favorite gifts because he recognized something in me at such a young age. I wrote songs when I was a little kid, and I recalled lyrics and melodies and stuff when I was, like 2 and 3 years old. It was written in my baby book, and it was just kind of neat to look back on that and realize it really was a part of who I was. It wasn't just something that I happened upon or grew into. It was part of my upbringing,
So how old were you when you first learned how to play the guitar?
My goodness, I have a picture of me at 1 year old with a guitar.
Oh, wow.
And when I tell you a funny story, I always wanted to play a piano. And being the youngest of 4 kids, my parents were just like, we don't want to buy a piano. You probably would just put it away and not play it. I tell you what, if you can play a guitar, which is a lot less expensive and takes up a lot less room, then we will see if we can get you a piano. So a friend of the family gave Daddy a guitar to give to me, and I picked it up right away and started playing by ear and picking up chords and stuff right away. And so they followed through with their promise and got me a piano right after that. And strangely enough, I play the guitar more than piano now, but, I just love all forms of music.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny. Yeah, I started out the other way, playing the piano first, and then kind of took over my grandfather. He's passed on now, but he was the one that got me started. He taught me how to play the guitar and how I learned all the old country songs from him. And
oh, yeah. It's a lot easier to carry around, too.
No, yes, definitely. But what sort of amazes me is, with your early start in music, it was just not an early start with playing the guitar and writing songs, but you actually had your first charted single at, the age of 15 with the Lady Lady?
Yeah, I did. I was one of these kids that just wouldn't take no for an answer, and my mom and dad, bless their hearts, they probably were accused of being stage parents, but they were the total opposite of that. And I would beg them to just let me go down to Nashville and let me hear songs at publishing companies. And, these publishing companies were so nice to allow me in the door and let me hear some of the greatest songs, probably looking back because of my connection with Conway.
Sure.
But I had run into this gentleman named Stuart Harris, and he liked my voice, and he wrote a song specifically for me and my age, and it happened to be Lady Lady. Oh, TG's got the dogs out. Oh, boy. Honey, that's why they're in the bedroom. So anyway, he wrote that song for me, and we released it, and, it was a sweet little song, and it did really well for me, and I did a lot of traveling, and I worked a lot from that song, and was able to go on to do Star Search and get on some local TV and stuff from it. It was a great stepping stone for me.
Well, didn't it also lead you to Ralph Emery's Nashville Now and Crook and Chase and Music City Tonight, all TNN programs, which were the biggest country music shows at the time?
Yeah, I think, everything that you do is a stepping stone to something else, and, nothing is in vain. I think if you even write a song today that might not get cut, I heard you all talking earlier, it was written and inspired for a reason, and if you wait long enough and you play it to enough people, something's bound to come of it. And I just never took no for an answer, and I did the Ralph Emery morning show here in Nashville for 7 years before Nashville Now took a liking to what I did, and then Nashville Now took a liking onto Music City, and just one thing led to another.
Is that where you first met Laurie Morgan? Because she also, I believe, did Ralph's morning show for a long time, singing.
As a matter of fact, the very first time I did the Ralph Emery show, I was 12, and I would do it maybe once a year for a couple of years. But then I got a little older, and Laurie had been on the show as a regular for many years. And when her career took off on Nashville Now, they asked me to be her replacement as a full-time weekly artist on the morning show. So I've always been kind of in her footsteps or in her shadow, through following her career. And